your CIGTV News Update, I'm Donna Bush. Thanks for joining us, as always. On Tuesday morning, His Excellency Governor Martin Roper attended his first cabinet meeting with government ministers, the cabinet secretary, and other high-ranking officials who are all part of the cabinet. The working meetings take place each Tuesday of the week. And as Governor Roper continues to meet leaders from the main sectors and get familiar with the Cayman Islands and its people, he met with those in the financial industry on Monday evening. Head of Cayman Finance, Mr. Jude Scott, gave His Excellency a synopsis of Cayman's rankings internationally and the way in which we operate as a jurisdiction. And in other news, on this Tuesday, yesterday, we heard about the process of inspecting our schools from leaders within the Office of the Education Standards. Today, we hear more about the process, which includes scrutinizing the work done by students and looking at students' results.
We do general observations, looking at issues relating to health and safety. So we're harnessing pretty much a comprehensive arsenal of evidence, which will inform the judgments that we eventually arrive at. Generally, they're notified. Okay. There's a 15-day notice period where our administrative officer will indicate that we are coming to do an inspection. There's a request for particular documentation. And as part of that process, I think Peter will talk about that later too, there's a pre-inspection visit. So there's adequate notice in terms of our visit.
That's important so that we gather the timetables and key information to make the inspection rigorous and comprehensive. Once we arrive in the school, the teachers don't know which class we're going to and when we're going. So it's a combination of announced and unannounced. Sure. And I find that that balance is important. It would be inappropriate to just arrive at a school and find that half of the children are out on a school visit or on a residential trip or something. So there needs to be a balance between the notification. But what we try to do is give the schools as much support and guidance to prepare the right information which positively reflects the strength of the school. And a key part of our work is this collaboration between the inspectorate and schools to ask them to evaluate their own work in advance of us coming, using the framework that Althea has mentioned. Okay. You know, it's about self-evaluation, about the schools recognizing their strengths and with us identifying the areas for improvement.
Tomorrow we hear what makes the framework used in the Cayman Islands for the school's inspections a very unique one. Finally, the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands' most recent exhibition, Big Art Auction 5, ended with an elegant invite-only reception and auction last week. The event is held in support of the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands' permanent collection, development, and as well as related education programs. Now, the 4-week exhibition featured works by leading contemporary artists locally before they are auctioned at an entertaining Sotheby's-style evening reception. This is the 5th year of the auction, and part proceeds from the Big Art Auction 5 go to the artists and part to the NGCI's Art Fund. Now, a gallery release tells us that the 50-50 split is an effort to ensure the project remains sustainable and of benefit to both parties. Finally, a reminder to go online to gis.gov.ky if you would like to take a look at what programs are on CIGTV for this week. Be sure to click on the publications link at the bottom of that homepage. If you missed our broadcast here on CIG Television, you can go straight to the Facebook page. That is the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page, where you can still catch our stories of the day. Also, you can check out our YouTube channel. For now, I'm Donna Bush, as always, thanking you for joining us. I wish you a safe and, of course, a wonderful evening and invite you back here again tomorrow evening. Until then, though, have a great night and bye-bye for now.
I'm Jody Ann Powery. I'm the Police Media Officer with the RCIPS, and I'm here to give you some crime prevention tips on how to best protect your property. The first thing that we want to discuss is our points of entries. Let's start with the front door, and then we'll move on to the windows and the back doors or sliding glass doors. The first thing to consider is the front door. This particular front door has 2 deadbolt locks. One of these deadbolt locks are properly carpentered and the other is not. When your door is properly locked, you'll hear a click at the end, and the deadbolts are not able to move. If it is slightly opened, then you can push the deadbolt back without having any restrictions. I'll now proceed to show you what your lock should look like when it is properly locked. When it comes to your windows, you want to make sure that your window is locked all the way down, because even though the lock is on, if it's not all the way down, it can still be pried. The proper way to lock the window is to make sure that the window goes all the way down to the seal, and then you pull across the lock. When you have a sliding glass door at home, you want to make sure that you have secondary locking devices in addition to the lock that comes with the door. One of those can be a simple piece of wood that's jamming the doorway. We want to encourage you to ensure that you don't make things easy for burglars who are looking for opportunities to break into property by leaving your property out in plain view. Some of these items are your car keys, your electronics, and your handbags. Make sure that you put these properties away when you're leaving the house or when you're going to bed. When you're going camping, or if you're taking your family on a trip, you want to ensure that your property has some sign of life. This can be done by leaving a light on or putting timers on your lights. And we want to ensure that our family homes are safe. In order to do so, we encourage that people take the proper precautions by starting up neighborhood watches or encouraging family members or persons they trust to check on their properties while they're away.
Boating, fishing, and water sports in the Cayman Islands are great, but keep a cool head. Here are 7 tips for fun and safe sea outings. Number 1. Use a checklist to plan your outing. Check the weather forecast, make a float plan, and share it with someone who is remaining on land, stating where you're going, with whom, and when you're expected to return. Visit your nearest marine supply store to get your safety gear. This includes signaling mirrors, whistles, and a flare kit. It's also very important to have onboard flotation devices and life vests for each person. There are different types of vests. Some are for water sport activities such as snorkeling, and others are for going on offshore boating or on fishing trips. Number 2. These items can be lifesavers in case of an accident or bad weather. Number 3. Use a motor kill switch, especially if you're boating alone. In case of a leak or breakdown, always stay with the boat until help arrives. If you capsize, an emergency beacon or locator device can send a distress signal to inform the authorities of your location. Larger flares will indicate distress to a boat, airplane, or search and rescue officials. Number 4. In addition to sunscreen, food, and beverages, it would be smart to have a cell phone. Make sure your marine radio works. Cayman boaters use Channel 16 to communicate. Number 5. Also, don't forget your anchor and sufficient rope. Number 6. Boat operators should be familiar with the local waters and reefs, as well as the capabilities and functions of the vessels they are using. Always obey the rules of the sea and the marine environment, and have courtesy for others. Number 7. Alcohol and salt water do not mix, especially if you're the captain. Some useful contact numbers are 911. The RCIPS Marine Base is 649-7710, and the Port Authority is 949-2055. Smooth sailing, all!